Hey all, I'm Julia from Relatable Nonprofit. Today I'm joined by Jamie McDonald, a rising nonprofit consultant who's been doing some amazing work building her business from the ground up. We're going to talk about what brought Jamie into the program and what shifts she's experienced and where she is headed next with her business. So let's start, Jamie, with where you were in your nonprofit career before joining the program. What were you hoping for? What felt unclear or hard at that stage?
So I have really been in nonprofit work my entire career. My background's in public health, and I started early on working in governmental work and then shifted quickly to a nonprofit organization where I worked for 24 years. And in the last 10 of those years, I had moved into the executive director position, and it was great. We did amazing work to improve children's health in our area, and I had just the ability to learn so much really on the job, from everything from fund development to program management and development evaluation to public speaking to leadership and board development. And, as a small nonprofit, being the executive director means you wear a lot of hats and your work never really ends. So I think as far as the things that were hard for me was being able to get everything that we needed for the organization accomplished, and not and feeling guilty that I didn't have enough time. There just simply were not enough hours in the day to get everything that needed to be done to be as successful as we could be, to get done with the resources that we had. So looking back on it, I think it would have been better served if we had looked at some support through external consultants at the time. That I think would have been a tremendous help. And so that's kind of where I have been going now, is thinking, gosh, what do executive directors need, and how can I be best placed to help them, to help support them.
That's great. Yeah, I think we hear that from a lot of people who come into the program, that especially the executive directors, about wearing all the hats and everything that they had to do in that role. What is one mindset shift that you've experienced since starting the mentorship program?
I think the biggest mindset shift, and I'm still relatively new in my business, and so I'm still learning it, is that it is okay to have work hours and non-work hours. And I think coming from, working in that leadership position, that executive position in a nonprofit, work never ends and you feel like you can't turn it off. You have people relying on you, and that may be true as business builds, but this is my business, and I can say I'm going to work now, or I am going to take some time off for me and for my personal time. And I think that's really freeing. It's a little bit scary because it's such a mind shift from where I've been for 24 years, essentially, is having giving myself permission to kind of turn things off when I need to.
Yeah, especially with yesterday being Labor Day. I know I was encouraging everyone to take the day off, even though I know it feels like you're never off when it's your own business.
Right, right.
Well, tell me, and you were telling me a little bit before we started recording about some wins that you've been having recently. Maybe share with the audience about some of the wins that you are proud of achieving since joining.
Sure. So I have been in the program for a short period of time. I started in July, or at the end of June. And in that time, I started my own business. I got up and running. I officially launched on July 16th. I have social media and a website presence. I have learned about, a good way of reaching out and telling people who I am, what I can provide, as far as the services I provide. I've learned how to develop proposals and be able to monetize those proposals in a way that is fair for everybody, myself included, how to price myself in the marketplace, which is so important. And I have some discovery calls where I'm meeting with people who are interested in perhaps hiring me for services that they need. And this is just in less than 3 months. So I'm so excited that it's been, everything has been moving along as appropriate. And I think, those are the tangible things, but I think what has been really helpful for me is knowing that there are others, out there, not only as you and Kat as mentors, but other people in the program who have been supportive and sharing their successes and their questions, and that we're all able to jump in and help support one another in this new journey. And that's been really a great, just having that place to be has been great. I feel so much less alone, even less alone than I did when I was an executive director, which is kind of a lonely position at times where you don't have a lot of others to jump in and ask questions with. Definitely have that here more.
Well, I'm so glad you brought up the community. That was actually my next question. I know we have people from all over the country who are joining and posting and sharing their experience. And I know some people collaborate, they meet one-on-one, they post. Maybe just talk a little bit more about how this being surrounded by the other nonprofit consultants in our community, how has it helped you to feel supported? Do you like to post or just talk a little bit about how that community works for you? Or how it shows up in your business every day.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, when I joined, people reached out, and it is how much you put into it. So I did an introductory post and going through the educational materials, and I posted a couple of times. And then being on the live Zoom workshops each week, have been able to meet people through that. I think within my first week, there was like a warm connection between Kat and one of the other community members who was looking for some advice and needed to share a resource that they are putting together, and invited me to participate in that, which was, not only welcoming, but it made me feel like I was in the right place because they were asking, questions that I felt like I could answer and could give back. And I think that's been really the rewarding thing, is that everybody has been so helpful. There's not a feeling of, there, I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's just a warm feeling. Everybody is a collaborator. It's very community minded group. And I just I've enjoyed making those connections.
Oh,
I
I
think my only
appreciate that.
wish, and maybe we can help with this, is that we get some more people on the West Coast where I am. Uh,
Yeah.
and then we can have some, like, meetups in real life, because I get a little jealous when I hear about people being able to actually meet in person on the East Coast.
I know, I appreciate that. We've been talking a lot about how can we set up some real in-person meetups. So that's definitely on the horizon as we continue to grow. So what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining because they maybe feel too new, too unclear, or just not ready?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it has to be, as far as timing, it has to be right for you. In my case, I came across the information for the program at the exact right time. I was looking to develop a consulting business. I wasn't really sure how to start. And I think LinkedIn must have known that, and they put me right in touch with you. I would say, I think it was probably, the most I mean, I made the decision informed, but I did feel like it was a little bit of a risk because there's an investment, but it is important to ensure that you are investing in yourself and in a business. If you're developing a business, there needs to be an investment in that, not only with work, but in acquiring skills. And I think that it is difficult to find something similar to this in other spaces. As I've talked to other people who are in consulting or are wanting to go into consulting in other areas, in other sectors, not in nonprofit, and they haven't really seen anything that is like this. And I think it's been so important for me. If it were somebody I know that was thinking about doing this and really wanted to be successful in nonprofit work, then I would say this should be your number one. This should be your first step. Think of it like, if you wanted to get, an additional degree, that you would have to go back to school, and that would be an investment in yourself and your education. And kind of think of it like that this is an investment in yourself, in growing yourself, growing a business, growing some self-fulfillment, and really worth it, worth every penny.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. And I'm so happy that it's really working out for you and that your business is growing so quickly. So, speaking of your business and the bigger vision there, where do you see it going in the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, my vision is to have, a full-time consulting business where I am, where I have a number of clients, some retainer style clients that kind of keep me afloat with some other smaller projects. I see myself well embedded in my hometown, which is what I want, really want, is to be giving back to the town I live and grew up in, and being able to, you know, do my work and be able to also share time with my family and my friends and other things that I like to do without feeling like I can't do anything but work. So that's where I'm pushing myself to be.
Fantastic. I think that's a perfect goal. And can you give the audience a quick snapshot of your consulting focus?
Sure. So my business is J McDonald Strategies, and we help nonprofits with programmatic and operational support so that they can reach their mission and goals. So we do things like develop programmings that are aligned with their mission, help with evaluation if needed, and then anything operational that helps to grow a nonprofit organization, whether that be board developments, helping to oversee their sorry, operation plans and procedures, and even providing fractional support when needed.
That's amazing. And where can people learn more or connect with you?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn under Jamie McDonald, under my name, and then I have a website, J McDonald's, and that's McDonald strategies.com.
Perfect. Jamie, thank you so much and wishing you the best of luck with your business.
Thank you so much.